On tonight's show, we talk to Lisa Pyle, the Vice President of Oceania Cruises. We find out which are the 10 best airports in the world, and we have a few odd excuses why people miss their flights. Hi, welcome to BonVoyageTV. I'm Jared Murphy. I'm a travel agent by day with BonVoyageCruises&Travel, and I'm joined by Olivia Van Leerop.
Oh, how are you, Jared?
Very good, thank you. How are you?
Good.
You've been climbing.
Yeah, had an amazing weekend. So I went to Tongariro and did the Tongariro crossing. It's just absolutely breathtaking when you get to the top.
Well, that sounds fantastic, getting to the top, but I've been tempted to sort of look into Tongariro crossing, and climbing stuff is not my forte.
Yeah.
So what does it actually involve?
So you get there bright and early in the morning, you catch a shuttle to the end, you drive to the end of the track first, and then you catch a shuttle to the start. So then you can walk over just in your own time, and it doesn't matter if you're quick or you're slow, you're not going to be waiting for anybody when you get to the other end because your car's there. And loads of people on the track. That was really surprising actually, so you're never alone. And then basically it's up for the first part of it. You start at 1,100 metres, so you're already quite high, and then you climb to about 1,900 metres. So it's a decent climb, but not crazy. And then when you come back down the other side, you're actually dropping down to about 500 metres above sea level, so you actually come down a lot further than you climb.
So are you actually getting to the summit of Tongariro?
Yeah, you climb right to the top, and Tongariro is a really gnarly mountain as well. It's not like Ngarahoe where it comes straight up and there's a crater at the top. There's all sorts of craters when you get to the top, you know, and beautiful, incredible emerald lakes, which are sulphur lakes, and so the colour of them is just out of this world. It's not something that you could imagine, really, you know.
I've seen them from the air.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. There's one little lake that's a blue lake, and it's dark blue around the outside, and then it goes to turquoise in the middle. It's just so stunning. Yeah, it's just gorgeous. It's really magical.
So how strenuous?
Well, I did it. It's 20 k's long, climbing, climbing about 800 metres. And we did it in 5 hours, and that included lunch stops and things. But a lot of people do it in about 8 hours, but we're pretty fast.
So Andy, our director, was interested in doing it. Is it, looking at him, is he going to be fit enough to get
absolutely,
it?
Andy, you'll be fine.
So Andy, you can do the Tongariro crossing.
So highly recommend it. And then we stayed in a place called Kuratau, which is just north of Turangi, so the southwestern side of the lake. Absolutely stunning, just quiet little settlement. Beautiful batch right on the water there. So highly beautiful weekend.
So Olivia can recommend the Tongariro crossing.
Absolutely.
Good.
Cool.
Now we were talking about airports before, and you had uncovered that there was the annual list of the top 10 airports announced.
Yes.
And you're a little bit sceptical.
I am actually. I was quite surprised. My favourite that I've been to see is Sapporo Airport. It's incredible.
That's in Japan.
Yeah, in Japan. There's a whole road that's called Smile Road, just to start with, it's called Smile Road. And there's a chocolate factory, there's a zoo of stuffed animals. There's, just so much food. Everywhere you go, there's samples of food everywhere, so you don't even need to get your wallet out. You can fill yourself up just by sampling everything, which I'm sure isn't the idea, but it's great. So I'm interested to know what the surveys of the top 10 airports in the world, what they're actually based on.
What the criteria are. I will find out.
Okay, all right.
In the meantime, you tell us what they are.
Yeah, I will. Singapore's Changi Airport has once again been named the best airport in the world in the annual Skytrax Award. This is the 4th year in a row that the airport has claimed the top spot, and it's not the only one to be reappearing on the list in 2016. Incheon International Airport in South Korea has held on to 2nd place, and Munich Airport in Germany has reappeared in 3rd position for this year. New entries in this year's top 10 include Kansai International Airport in Japan and Hamad International Airport in Qatar, in 9th and 10th places respectively. Skytrax annual awards are voted for by customers in one of the largest annual passenger satisfaction surveys. That's what we want to know about. Yeah.
But you want to know the criteria?
Yeah, I really do.
We'll find out.
Yes, okay. Edward Plaisted, CEO of Skytrax, said Changi Airport continues to innovate in both product and service options for its customers and focus on marketing the customer experience at the airport as enjoyable and relaxing as possible. It's easy to see why Singapore Airport has remained in first place, given that the airport has a cinema, music bar, lounges, and even a rooftop swimming pool. CNBC reports Singapore is not resting on its laurels though, and in 2017, Changi Airport will be updating their facilities with the new Terminal 4. The renovation will include a double volume arrivals hall, self-service kiosks, bag drop counters and a heritage zone.
You are going to India shortly, so when you get back, we want to know all about Chennai Airport.
Yeah.
And see whether it gets anywhere near the top 10.
Oh my gosh, what I've heard so far is that I want to get out of Chennai Airport as fast as I can. That's my advice.
Well, while Olivia's away in India, she promises that she's going to send us some photographs and hopefully some little video clips.
Yeah, totally. Take the GoPro.
If the technology allows. That would be good.
Absolutely.
It's now time for a short break, but when we get back, we're not flying anymore, we're going cruising. We've got an interview we recorded earlier with Lisa Pyle, who is the Vice President in Sydney for Oceania Cruises Worldwide. She's going to enlighten us how Oceania had become so successful for a relatively new cruise line.
Ed and Vivo, we've got the biggest crush on Graham Norton. So we flew all the way to his place so he could have a crush on us. Graham Norton's own Sauvignon Blanc. Southern Hemisphere grapes meet Northern Hemisphere fab.
Bringing you extra comfort, choices and privileges. The new Singapore Airlines Premium Economy Class. A great new way to fly.
Hello again. We are now joined by Lisa Pyle, our special guest from Oceania Cruises.
Thank you, Gerard.
Welcome to BonVoyageTV.
Thank you, my dear, and it's absolutely delightful to be in Auckland. I don't think I've ever been here where the weather's been so warm.
It's always like this. True.
Fantastic. It's true, I believe you. I believe you.
Now you represent two cruise lines, Oceania Cruises and Regent Seven Seas.
That's correct.
And today we want to talk about Oceania Cruises. It's a brand that is known to New Zealand cruisers and particularly experienced cruise passengers.
That's correct.
But there's still a lot of people that probably don't know a lot about Oceania and how far it's grown. So can you quickly give us the backstory, as they say?
Certainly. Well, certainly New Zealanders know Oceania very well, and they're actually in our top 3 demographics, New Zealanders and Australians, so they know us. The company started in 2003. We currently have 5 ships, and we call them mid-size ships. And the brand is really for experienced cruisers. Our tagline is the finest cuisine at sea. So it's all about food and wine, hence why New Zealanders and Australians love this cruise line. Now, I know you yesterday experienced Marina.
Yes.
She was in port. What did you think?
We had a lovely lunch on board,
Yes.
and it is a beautiful ship. And there's a couple of things we'll talk about later that really impressed me that I didn't know about. And I'd like to think I know a lot about cruise ships and cruise lines. But there were a couple of surprises there, but it was stunning. The lunch was lovely.
Superb.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so once again we go back to the food. But Oceania, we currently have 5 ships, mid-sized ships, ranging from 680 people right up to 1,250 people. We purchased our first ships back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they're what we call our R-class ships. They take about 680 passengers, about 340 staterooms, of which 2/3 are balcony suites. They house 5 restaurants, specialty restaurants, once again food, gymnasium. We have the wonderful Canyon Ranch Spa that we're in partnership with, and they provide our spa and fitness facilities on board.
Oh, so can you elaborate a little bit on your beautiful spa facilities and what you offer there?
Certainly, Olivia. So we partnered with Canyon Ranch Spa a number of years ago, and on board we have full spa facilities, but we also provide fantastic fitness facilities. So gone are the days where the adage is that people went on a cruise as a passenger and come off as cargo.
Yeah, yeah.
There's absolutely no excuse for not keeping fit. So, you know, you have these fantastic large gymnasiums, you have spinning classes, something dear to your heart,
awesome.
yoga classes,
Oh, beautiful.
personal trainers, Pilates. It's absolutely fantastic, the facilities. And then, of course, we've got the traditional spa treatments. So anywhere from having your nails done to facials to thalassotherapy, spas, which I'm told is a spa on steroids.
A water therapy?
A thalassotherapy. Am I saying that correct,
I don't
Olivia?
know about this one. This is news to me.
I'll have one of those next time I go on
It's
board.
one of those mineral spas, you know, so you hop in and it just makes you feel absolutely fantastic, and it's got a million
Yeah.
jets all at once, and so you know, you've got a
Beautiful.
number of different things that you can enjoy in the spa.
Wonderful.
It was a very impressive gymnasium, and I'm not big on gymnasiums on cruise ships. I tend to sort of see them and walk past them. But
You're more big on the food side of things, hey Gerard?
food is me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you do a North Atlantic crossing as well, which is pretty impressive.
So Miami to Rome or Rome to Miami.
Yes.
About 4 or 5 days that takes now.
Wow.
So gone are the days where it used to take 3 weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, it's
That's
quite quick.
really quick.
Yes.
Amazing. Cool.
So you've got plenty of time to relax
Yeah, yeah.
and, of course, enjoy the scenery.
Absolutely.
Lots of blue water.
Oh, it's
Lots
amazing.
of blue water.
It's, you know what, a lot of people used to say to me when I was on the yachts, you know, don't you feel claustrophobic when you're, you know, in the middle of the ocean, there's nothing else around. But it is the most freeing, beautiful experience.
You can't get a more wide open space than that.
No,
can
you can't. You stand on the bow of the boat or wherever you are and it's just
Peaceful.
blue. It is. And the sunsets and the sunrises are just stunning. And
I
the
love sea
wildlife.
days. I love the days of
Yeah,
I
I
have
do
to say, I've
too.
done a couple of cruises now, and I really enjoyed my sea days. I actually found them incredibly relaxing.
Yes,
You catch
yeah.
up on a lot of reading.
Yes.
And you tend to, I mean, the days go very quickly at sea, I have to say, when you're really enjoying yourself. And
Yeah. It absolutely
nice.
is.
Hard to
It's
fit everything in.
forced.
it's hard to fit everything in, but I also feel that you sleep like a baby. I don't know, I think that's that little
Yes.
bit of rocking.
You do,
It
yep.
comatoses you.
Yeah, definitely.
That's wonderful.
So we're talking about cuisine at sea, and it's a big stake to put on the ground that, you know, we have the finest cuisine at sea.
Yes.
I'm going to put you on the spot. How do you justify that?
You know, we have a CEO, Frank Del Rio, who is absolutely passionate about the food that we serve on all of our ships. And we have employed many years ago a culinary master chef, Jacques Pepin, who actually has served as the personal chef for 3 French heads of state, including Charles de Gaulle. So he came on as our culinary master chef, and he has been heading up our food and beverage program for a number of years on board Oceania Cruises.
And I have to say that a lot of cruise lines now have a celebrity chef or 2, but I think Oceania was first, if not first, they were very close to being the first to appoint, you know, the
Yes, I would say first. I'm with you, Gerard.
Yeah.
I would say first, and the tradition is.
He's a star.
He is
He's
a
a
star.
star in Europe.
He's a very understated star. I mean, he does still a lot with the New York Culinary Institute. He still teaches online through Boston University. He's 80 years of age and he's still incredibly active. He's certainly a very talented gentleman, and we've continued with the tradition. And his daughter, Claudine, is the godmother of our new ship, the Serena, which of course you're going to find out about in April.
I'm trying to keep that a secret.
Oh, where are you going?
I'm going to Barcelona to see a ship. I'm going to a christening.
I think actually I have heard about this. That's very exciting.
It is very exciting.
Yes, it's going to be a fantastic. So Gerard is joining us on the inaugural from Barcelona to Venice, a 14-night journey.
I'm only doing the 5 nights.
Oh, you're doing 5
Fantastic.
nights with us, okay, rightio. But it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Of course, Serena in Latin means mermaid.
Oh, beautiful.
She's a very pretty ship. She's currently in dry dock, being completely fitted out. We're spending $50 million refitting this
That's just for
R-class
me,
ship
because they
out.
know I'm coming.
So, you know, we're really looking forward to her joining the fleet and being part of our Oceania Cruises family.
Amazing. So can you talk a little bit about the destinations that we go to on these ships?
Certainly. So, you know, let's take the Serena as an example. So she's launching in Barcelona. She'll spend the summer, the Mediterranean summer, in the Med, sailing the Med. So, of course, Gerard's going from Barcelona to Venice, stopping along a number of beautiful ports along the way. It's a lovely way to get to see the Med. and then she will make a maiden voyage from Barcelona through to over to actually New York. So she'll cross the Atlantic 4 days and end up in New York. She'll do the coast of New York, and then she'll go up actually for the winter, for the fall months, and she'll go up to Massachusetts, Martha's Vineyard,
Wow.
Boston, and then come back down, and then she'll spend the winter in the Caribbean, or the Caribbean as we say in this part of the world. So she, you know, these ships never stop.
Yeah.
They're on the constant go, and I always say they chase the sun in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they, you know, we've just had the marina here in port in Auckland. She now heads down to Papeete, around Tahiti, back down through South America, through the Panama Canal, and then back into the Caribbean, and then on to North America as well. So they do tend to chase the sun, and oh look, honestly, over 300 different ports we visit with Oceania Cruises.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's, you know, for people that have been to those destinations, it's so different when you're on the water. It's so, like you said, it's a beautiful way to see the Mediterranean when you're cruising. You know, it's a completely different outlook from the water, isn't it?
I agree, and I just think you get to see so much more. I mean, you get to call into port. I mean, as I've mentioned previously, we tend to stay 24 to 48 hours in various ports. So it really gives people a fantastic opportunity to go and do their shore excursions.
Oh, there's so much you can do in that time.
And get a feel.
Yeah.
So we're going to some pretty interesting places like Marseille for a day in Provence. We're going to Monaco, Saint-Tropez, all the fashionable places.
Have you got your outfits? Have you got your wardrobe
Yeah,
organised,
you need
Gerard?
your Euro, you need your pastel shirts.
We do need a clothing sponsor for BonVoyageTV. But then we're going to Elba, which most
known for the truffles.
Yeah, and most New Zealanders won't have been there, and that's the sort of place that Oceania Cruises goes to because some of the ships are smaller and they can get to some of those smaller ports, and we're having nice long stays up till 10 p.m. So
that's correct. And I think, you know,
great.
you look at places like Elba. Now, Elba's very famous in, once again, culinary. And, you know, there's the Elba white truffle. And that season is in October, November, and Elba comes alive. So, you know, we try and call into ports that have got that culinary flavour to it, because we do the culinary cooking school on board.
Oh, right.
And we have these lessons, and then they're absolutely complemented by these shore excursions. So somewhere like Elba is a perfect example of where we go off and we'll do a culinary tour. So no, you're absolutely right. We do tend to go to different destinations. We're also a company that we release our itineraries the last from all cruise lines. So I'm currently waiting now on our 2017-2018 itineraries to be released, and they'll be released in April. And once again, we're announcing new destinations, which I can't give you a hint at the moment. But there's some lovely new ones.
Top secret.
So once again, it's those ports that you wouldn't normally necessarily see a cruise ship in, but we're going to go there and you know, give our passengers a treat.
And speaking about our visit yesterday, there were several things that I was really impressed with. And one of them was the library on that ship.
Oh yes.
It'd be one of the biggest libraries I've seen on board a ship.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful timber and leather chairs and
fireplaces,
cabinets and lots of books, but lots of little nooks and crannies to just sit in.
Oh, gorgeous.
I'd be there on some of those sea days. And the other thing that impressed me, which you don't get on a lot of ships, specialty coffees.
Oh, my
and
favourite.
New Zealanders and Australians live on specialty coffees. They're all included.
They're all included. I mean, all the food is included on Oceania Cruise. All those specialty restaurants that you saw and you have experienced a couple, they're all included. So there's no further payment for those specialty restaurants. You know, we don't include beverages, but there are special packages that people can buy prior to going on the ship, or once they're on the ship, they can look at doing that as well. So, you know, I think one of the lovely things about cruising is that you really know how much you're going to spend.
Yeah.
Once you're on board,
you can budget.
that's exactly right. You know your budget. And I just want to go back quickly to the ports, because one of the biggest things I found, and I'm an ex-hotelier by trade, is that when you go to places like Venice, and you've got to realise how much value cruising gives you. Places like Venice now have become so incredibly expensive. You want to go and stay somewhere near St. Mark's Square, you know, you're looking anywhere from €500 up for accommodation to be close to St. Mark's Square. You're on a cruise, it's included.
Yeah.
Your accommodation is included. You don't need to worry. So those wonderful destinations like Venice, like the Baltic states, which are incredibly expensive, when you're cruising, It's all included. So I think when you're looking at value and you're looking at travel, you've got to weigh all those things up, and especially the shore excursions as well.
Definitely, yeah.
So one thing, Lisa, when you come on BonVoyageTV is
Yes.
you don't leave without giving us a deal. So I'm going
Yeah,
to put you on the
dear.
spot now. No. I know you are organising me a deal, so we will put that up after the break,
Yes.
and that will be a wonderful deal, of course. But one last question is, are we going to see much more of Oceania down in the New Zealand, Australian waters over the next few years?
We hope so, absolutely. And I just think with the growth of our fleet, you know, Australia and New Zealand itineraries sell very, very quickly. And the marina that you were on yesterday, the segment around Australia and New Zealand was completely full capacity. We have a ship coming down also next March, an Oceania ship that circumnavigates Australia for 34 nights. It's completely sold out, that itinerary. In fact, it's on stop sell. It was the first itinerary to sell out. So I think with that response, with the cruising growth that there is in both New Zealand and Australia, I think we can see a lot more of Oceania down this part of the world.
We certainly hope so,
Yeah,
because
thank you.
at BonVoyageCruises&Travel, Oceania is certainly one of our clients' most loved cruise lines. And as we discussed, it hasn't been around that long, so you've done a remarkable job starting from nothing 13 years ago.
I think that's down to our CEO, Frank Del Rio, who started off the cruise line and has an amazing passion for this cruise line.
I think you start with the passion, and he's
Yes.
put all the right things in place
He
to make
has.
it work. So,
It's a great product.
well, thank you very much for coming
Thank
in.
you very much, Jared, and I look forward to seeing you in April.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to that.
Nice to meet you, Olivia, and
Lovely
we'll
to
see you
meet
in the
you.
yoga room.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome back. Now, wasn't she just wonderful?
She's a lovely lady.
Yeah, yeah.
And new to the job, so enthusiastic as
Full of
anything.
knowledge.
Yep.
Yes. And so what's the special deal?
Well, we went back to Oceania after our little interview, and we got a pretty good deal. Listen to this. As you now know, Oceania Cruises are the destination specialists, cruising in small to medium ships of between 700 to 1,250 passengers. In 2016, they have over 75 cruises in the Med and Northern Europe. All are currently on sale with a great choice of free bonuses. You get unlimited internet plus a choice of one of the following: $500 US onboard credit per person, 5 free shore excursions per person, or the house beverage package. Here's just one sample cruise. Join Oceania's Nautica in Southampton on the 4th of August for a fabulous 14-night itinerary, including 3 days in St. Petersburg and concluding in Stockholm. The cruise leaves Southampton, goes to Zeebrugge, Rotterdam, Skagen in Denmark, Copenhagen, Karlskrona, Lithuania, Riga, Tallinn, St. Petersburg, Helsinki, and finishes in Stockholm. And of course, BonVoyageCruises&Travel will be able to get you airfares to suit. The cruise, of course, includes all meals and specialty restaurants, which, as you now know, there's no extra charge for on Oceania. You get unlimited soft drinks, specialty teas and coffees, and all entertainment, and of course your port taxes are included. This wonderful cruise for 14 nights starts from $5,420. So call us at BonVoyageCruises&Travel on 0800 266 869 or check our website bonvoyage.co.nz.
So we're all after a great deal and great service when we travel.
And on 99% of all cruises, I'm sure that happens, and on Oceania, I can probably guarantee it.
Well, travel doesn't always necessarily go well. A passenger who wrote a hilarious complaint letter to an airline after a nightmare flight to the Caribbean has been praised by none other than Sir Richard Branson.
Was it his airline?
No.
Ah,
No.
no wonder.
In the open letter to Caribbean airline LIAT, published in the BVI Beacon, Arthur Hicks sarcastically tells the airline he was intrigued that we were allowed to stop at not a lowly 1 or 2, but a magnificent 6 airports.
6.
After going through the security scanners at each airport, Hicks says, and as for being patted down by a variety of islanders, well, I feel as if I've been hugged by most of the Caribbean already. If making the holiday maker travel to 6 different airports through various security scanners and doing it all on island time wasn't enough, Arthur's luggage was also lost, and probably the funniest part of the letter is when he writes, P.S. keep the bag, I never liked it anyway.
But it's not always the airline or a cruise line or a coach line's fault. Sometimes the passengers create their own problems.
Yes, exactly. And I've got a few stories here for late excuses to flights. AOL.com in UK has compiled a list of the top 10 excuses for being late to the airport and missing a flight. 1. I had to walk to the airport. A woman flying from Heathrow to the Dominican Republic almost missed her flight and claimed that her car had broken down and she'd had to abandon it on the hard shoulder of the M4 and walk miles and miles with her luggage to make it in time.
Hadn't heard of a taxi.
Well, that's pretty good effort though. I think that's a good excuse to be late if you ask me. I needed to see how the film ended. A woman flying from Bristol to Gran Canaria told airport staff she was late for her flight because while getting ready to leave the house, she'd been watching The Lion King on DVD for the first time and had to find out how it ended, even though she knew she'd then be running late.
And it was a DVD and she could have perhaps looked at it when she got home.
Yeah, it is a pretty epic film, so... We got carried away on the way to the airport. A woman flying from East Midlands Airport to Tenerife had almost missed her flight. She claimed that she hadn't been with her boyfriend all that long, who was travelling with her, and they'd had to pull into a lay-by on the drive to the airport to get intimate.
Well, I think we better...
I think they probably would have just enjoyed that story, the flight,
Yes.
you know, so they would have let
They
her
got
go
an
through.
upgrade.
Yeah, good on you.
We better leave it at that. That sounds
there's a
like this is
fair
getting
few.
worse.
Have you had any experience, Jared?
Of
where
being
you've
late?
missed flights or late?
I've never missed a flight, but I've come close for getting a passport one time.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
And basically just sitting in the lounge reading a magazine till I finally heard my name.
Yeah.
And I've been last on a flight in Los Angeles Airport
Yeah.
with an armed escort to get me right to the front door.
Ah.
Got on the flight and literally did not sit down before they closed the door and we backed out.
I've missed 3 that I can think of in my time. One was Florida to Little Rock, Arkansas. And I had just been following a bit of a festive night. A lot of them kind of follow something like that because you're not thinking straight. And I was just taking carry-on luggage, but I hadn't thought about my bottles that were over 100 mils. I'd flown a million times, so I know this stuff, but you know, I just didn't think, and I had one bottle over 100 mils. Went through, they didn't let me through, and they said, well, go back and recheck your bag, or check in your bag. So I went back. By the time I went back, they said, look, it's too late to check in your bag now, but we'll hold on to the product. So I did that. By the time I went back through security, I basically watched my flight taxi off.
So we will probably have more of your little stories in a few weeks when you get back.
Hopefully no missed flight stories.
No missed flights, no misconnections, no misbehaviour is what
No.
we're most concerned about.
Never.
Well, we've come to the end of the show. Andy's signalling us to wrap up, so it's good night from me.
Yeah, and good night from me.
Bon voyage.